today's topic, I know what you're wondering. What could it possibly be? What craziness is she going to talk about today? Well, today I want to talk about something super simple, and that super simple thing is self-esteem. Ooh, what a weird word. So elusive. Everybody throws it around like crazy. So I want to talk about self-esteem for two reasons. Number one, low self-esteem is like driving around with the handbrake on, right? You're going to ruin your vehicle and not get very far, right? And number two, I think the really interesting thing about low self-esteem in particular, doesn't matter who you are, every single living human on this planet has an insecurity. So the thing you have in common, even with an enemy, is insecurity. And I think that's very cool, and I think that's worth noting just to put things into perspective. So I want to go into self-esteem, and I want to kind of get an idea where you ladies fall on the self-esteem scale. So really quickly in the comments, I want you to give me something that you think you have high self-esteem in. Something you have high self-esteem in. What is that? Is it, your career? Are you a solid parent? Whatever you think that you have a high competency in that you're proud of. What is that one positive thing? Really think about it. It's important to have it on your mind. Don't just go through the motions. Have it on your mind. Excellent. Now, when you have that positive thing, I want to take it to the opposite side. What's one thing that you have a low self-esteem in or that you need to improve in? Where is that area? And do this exercise. If you're not going to do it in the comments, at least do it in your head so we can have that reference point. So now we have to figure out where these came from, right? Like, how did you get high self-esteem in your career or being a mom? Or how did you get low self-esteem in relationships or about yourself? Like, where did these levels of self-esteem come from? Because then you go into the question, nature versus nurture. So what do you think happened in your life, ladies, that gave you high self-esteem in that one thing you just thought of? What happened? What is it? How did you get high self-esteem in that thing? Let's figure it out. We can't just say things happen to us because then we have no control. So let's see how this was built up. Did your parents build it in you from a young age and they always told you it? Did you have to work at it through experience? Did it just show up one day? How did that high self-esteem get high? Think about that for a second. Where did that stem from? What contributed to it? Now, same thing on the opposite side. Where did the negative self-esteem come from? It wasn't just dropped on you. One day you didn't just hate your body. Where did it come from? Did somebody tell you? Did you always never fit into the clothes you wanted? Did you have a bad experience with a boyfriend? Like, what happened to either make it negative or keep it negative? Really think about this, ladies. We need to know where this is coming from. And the reason we need to know where this is coming from is because, number one, when you know where something started or how something developed, you can then gain some control over it because it's not something that you think you're just stuck with. And number two, we need to know this because guess what? You kind of just realized that this was created. These levels of self-esteem were totally created through the way that you just lived. Whatever happened created this. And why do we need to know that? Because guess what? If it was created, it can be recreated, right? If it was created passively or actively through whatever's happened in your life, that means guess what? We still have a chance to reshape it, change it, and recreate it. And that's an important thing to know. If you have low self-esteem about your body, about your self-worth, it was created. Things happened to make you think that and make you believe that. It's not just who you are. You are not your esteem. You are not a shy, unconfident woman. You were given those thoughts. So we can either change them, take them away, reshape them. That's the exciting part. And that's what we know, because nobody really talks about self-esteem. We just talk, usually we use the word like confidence, right? And I want to gain confidence, right? But self-esteem seems to be like a permanent title that we label ourselves with. And if you really think about it, our self-esteem, has that ever really changed in certain areas? We never really pay attention to it. Sure, we've grown in confidence, but like our general overarching feeling of ourselves in these areas, that never really changes, because we never take the time to focus on it. And usually the reason why, ladies, is because we don't think it's something that can actually be changed. And we don't think it's important. What we think is important is losing weight. What we think is important is finishing school, right? So what ends up happening is usually all through our lives, we passively work on our self-esteem. Passively, right? If I lose weight, I will feel beautiful, right? If I finish school, I will feel smart. So instead of working to feel smart, you're going to work at school and then hope that works out on the self-esteem of being smart. Does that make sense, ladies? So we always think something will lead to our self-esteem growing instead of skipping that and going to the actual self-esteem part itself. You following me? So for most of our, at least adult lives, we have been passively letting our self-esteem grow or decay. We haven't really paid any attention to what it was doing. We focus on confidence and current desires instead of what's happening or where we're going to end up long-term in the self-esteem side of things. So what needs to change, ladies? If you want true confidence, not just the confidence that makes you feel good, but the confidence that makes you unshakable in who you are as a person, not just how you look or things like that, like unshakable confidence, it's true self-esteem. And you have to actively pursue that. We cannot hope that it passively changes as we work on specific tasks. Does that make sense? So, having said that, how do we actively go after this self-esteem? So let's try to bottle self-esteem so we kind of know what exactly we mean. So I found this really cool definition. And the definition of self-esteem was, self-esteem is primarily made up of two things: feeling lovable and feeling capable. So your level of self-esteem is determined by how lovable and capable you think you are from situation to situation. Pretty simple, pretty cool. I think that covers quite a lot of things just in those two words. So let's break that apart. When I hear the word lovable, ladies, my mind goes to attitude. When I hear the word capability or capable, my mind goes to experience. So how do we actively pursue attitude? How do we actively pursue experience? So let's break down the first one. So how do we feel lovable, right? The reason we have low self-esteem in a certain area is because we don't think we are worth that. We don't feel good enough. We don't feel like we've earned it or deserved it, or for whatever the reason. We don't feel lovable in that area, okay? So how do we feel lovable? It's your attitude. Are you actively adjusting your attitude every day? Or are you just letting your attitude, your demeanor, your facade, are you just letting those things happen? Are you just letting yourself go through the highs and lows of life? But there's nothing wrong with that, but there's no intention behind it, right? When you're happy, you're happy. When you're sad, you're sad. When you're mad, you're mad. When you're in the middle, you're neutral, and there is no feelings. So have you been paying attention to your attitude and manipulating your attitude to come across more lovable? Are you lovable? Are you hard to live with? Are you hard to live with sometimes, ladies? We all have our moments. Some of us more often than others. But can you truly say you're lovable? Can you truly say that you are trying to be a pleasant person to be around? Is that thought on your mind often? Probably not. especially not with the people we see all the time, because we get comfortable being ourselves, quotations around them, right? Our raw selves. So is the thought of, how can I be more pleasant? How can I be more kind? Am I speaking to someone in their love language, right? Is that on the top of your mind? Or do you just think you are a good person, right? Because anybody listening to this is a good person. I'm not questioning, are you a good person? You're likable. I'm sure you got lots of people that would say that you're a great, likable person. But how many people can say that you are lovable on that deep level? Anybody can be liked. It is very hard to be lovable consistently. And lovable is not a feeling. It is actions. It is a consistency of your actions for others. Because if you love somebody, if someone can't deeply love you, how can you love yourself? And vice versa. If you can't deeply love you, like you don't think yourself is lovable, how can someone else do that? Right? And so it's symbiotic. It's this cycle. Are you being a lovable person? And if you see your love reciprocated, and you can see how your love is affecting other people positively, then you become proud of yourself. You get reassured that, yes, I'm a lovable person, not just likable, not manageable. I'm not just being put up with. I'm consciously always putting an effort into my attitude, shifting my attitude at all times. So if you have a low self-esteem in one area, whatever that area is, you have to switch to active attitude adjustments, not just passive. When I lose weight, I feel good. Okay, great. That's half the battle. Now, what about the attitude you get when you step on the scale and you're not happy? Do you actively try to fight the negative mindset that sets in? Or do you just brush it off? Which is not horrible. It's a start. Or do you actually let it affect you and bring you down? Then you're not being intentional with your attitude. And then you're not lovable, right? So then why would you love yourself? It's very hard to love somebody who's whiny, who complains, who has an excuse for every solution, who always points out everything you do wrong, right? Anybody you're annoyed at right now is probably for one of the reasons I just said, right? You know, you have someone on your mind right now. So that's the first step. That's half of working on self-esteem. Second half is capability, right? So that word means experience to me. So whatever that thing you have low self-esteem in, it's also because you don't think you're capable of it. And it's also because you probably stopped trying to be capable at it. Am I right? Usually we don't like things because we're not good at them. But usually the only way to get good at something is to keep doing it. And it's a crappy phase where you hit this learning curve of trying to catch up and get somewhere where you can breathe. But generally what happens is, over time we've either failed or not tried or given up or been told to stop and been discouraged, that we already think we can't do it. Or even worse, we think we're not the type of person that's going to be good at it, right? That's just not me. I'm just not that type of person. I'm not meant to do that. It's not meant for me. And then we start assigning weird meaning to things, right? Everybody says it's a sign, right? We all have signs. A sign is whatever you want it to be. A sign, you create those own signs, and you assign meaning to all the signs that you see, right? If you step outside because you're going for a run and then it rains, oh, it's a sign. Not supposed to go for a run, damn it, right? We can make our own signs up. So what we do is, when we're not good at it, it means we're not capable of it. So that incapability is true. It is true. But the only way to flip it around is through experience. You have to keep trying. You have to, right? And not even necessarily to the point where you become an expert or really good at something, but what you have to do more of is start to align yourself with somebody who keeps trying, somebody who doesn't give up, somebody who tries new things, right? If the light goes out in your room and you're the type of person who always says, hubby, change the light bulb for me, right? Maybe you like, show me how to change the light bulb, right? If they mow the grass, you mow the grass. Like, just do little things that make you believe you're someone that can actually learn new skills. You'd be okay. You're not going to have a meltdown, and you can do it. Like, you can handle whatever's thrown at you, right? Holding yourself back because you're not good at it is probably one of the worst things you could ever do for your self-esteem, because you've given yourself zero chance of not only being good at that specific thing, but now you've just put a tick on the side of, I'm someone that doesn't try to become good at things I'm bad at. So guess what? You will never even attempt something you know you will be unsuccessful at immediately. And guess what you're unsuccessful at immediately in? Your health and your weight loss. So if it takes you a hell of a long time to get a hold of that, that is why. Because you don't believe you're capable. And because you aren't actually capable, you don't try to become capable. And then we miss out on the experiences that build up our belief that we are capable, maybe not of being, expert ninjas at the thing, but we can handle the thing. We can hold our own. We can make ourselves uncomfortable. We can learn if we need to. So that is how you focus on building your self-esteem actively. Your attitude has to be on your mind in the forefront. It cannot be passively. You can't just passively behave like you feel. Does that make sense? Not ignoring your emotions. We have to acknowledge those. You have to have intention with how you act. So you can say, I am a lovable person. I am good. I like myself. I would want to hang out with me. That's what you have to get to. I'd want to hang out. I'm pretty cool. We'd have a good time with myself, right? And then don't sell yourself short of experiences where you just don't get to prove to yourself that you're actually good, right? So that's actively how we start to build up your self-esteem, so we can be proud of ourselves for something, so we can make it farther in life than most people, than most women, because it's on our minds. It's something we're going after, not something we hope will change if we fix X. Self-esteem covers all categories, all aspects, all areas. And if one area is down, I don't care how confident you are. You're actually not. You are not unshakable if there's a weak link. I'd rather you be a 5 out of 10 self-esteem in every area than a 10 out of 10 over here, a 2 out of 10 over here, a 3 out of 10 over here, a 9 out of 10. That's not balance. There's no intention there. That's a clear divide of you sticking to what you're comfortable with, right? That's what that shows me. If you've got crazy, crazy distinctions in extreme esteem, say that 10 times fast. In extreme esteem, that shows me the very reason why you gained weight in the first place. You even developed your self-esteem in an all or nothing mentality. How crazy is that? Crazy. So you just have to really focus on it, because no one talks about it. We just throw the word confidence around, and confidence is great, and that's part of self-esteem. Confidence is just, I'm okay, I can try it, right? Self-esteem is, it's not, I hope they like me. It's, I'm okay if they don't. That's the difference. Confidence gets you in the room. Self-esteem keeps you in there, even if you're uncomfortable. That's the difference. So if you feel like you're missing something, if you feel like you're not clicking up here, there's some level of self-esteem that's pulling you down, either making you feel unlovable to some degree, so then you've lost faith in yourself, or making you feel incapable, so you've slacked off and probably stopped trying, right? And that can be with health or not, in your marriage, with your children, in your career. Maybe you've been stagnant in your career for years. Same thing. It's the lovability and capability scale. Actively work on it. Don't hope that it changes over time as you live through life. That's the difference here. Okay, ladies? Because the most important thing in life that's going to get you everywhere is your opinion of yourself. That's it. If you don't have a high opinion of yourself, you have nothing. You will get nowhere. You will accomplish nothing. And you'll have no deep connections. If you have only focused on one thing, it's to have a high opinion of yourself. Be your own biggest fan. How can you do that? Think of the person that makes you the happiest, or think of the person that you admire the most, who is, or maybe there's multiple people. This person's the funniest I've ever met. This person's the most empathetic I've ever met. This person's the most selfless. Think about all these people that pop up that have those characteristics. How can you embody them all in yourself and be your biggest fan so you look up to you the most? How can you be so impressed with how you grow, so impressed with how you persevere, so impressed with how kind and empathetic you are, so impressed with how control of your demeanor you are, how impressed that you can respond instead of react to situations? If you were the person you looked up to, how proud of yourself would you be? Seriously, think of all your shortcomings, all of your flaws, all of your insecurities. If we flip those and you either fixed a couple of them, gained control, some of them didn't bother you anymore, imagine how cool you would be. Imagine how one of a kind you would be. Imagine the inspiration and impact you could have. And that's how you change the world. If you're ever up at night because you think humans are awful, or there's no good in the world, or I'm not doing enough, how can I help? Focus on your damn self. Stop worrying about every other issue. There's nothing you can do. Nothing worth trying, at least. Nothing that's going to make a big enough impact in the moment. If you become your best version of you, your spouse does. Your kids does. And then your kids' friends will see your kids being their best selves. So then the friends will try and match it. And then the friends' parents will see it in their kids and they'll try to match it. And your spouse's friends and coworkers. And before you know it, you've changed 1,000 people's lives. Just by focusing on you. It's exponential growth. That's the fastest way to change the world. That's it. That's it. Focus on you, ladies. Actively work on your esteem. People notice it. People feel it. You will know. Fake it till you make it only gets you so far. Gets you started, it's not going to finish the job. You can't fake being confident anymore. You can't fake believing you can do it anymore. You have to actually start trying to believe that you can do it. That's the difference. That's some heavy stuff. I got goosebumps talking about it. So, takeaways from this call, ladies. You have to put it on the forefront of your mind. Put it on the forefront of your mind. Losing weight has been on the forefront of your mind. That's okay, and it can stay there, but is it all consuming? There's other things that have a bigger ROI, bigger return of investment, of energy investment, of time investment, of sweat equity. Bigger things that have, or there's other things that have bigger ROIs than focusing on the weight. Keep it there, it's important. But actively paying attention to your attitude and your experience is what's going to elevate you and set you apart from everybody else. Actively. So really sit with yourself. Your homework is to see, how can I, start small. Where am I not paying attention to my attitude? Am I getting home from a long shift and just being a zombie? Instead of, maybe spending 5 minutes and talking to somebody or giving somebody a call or doing an act of service for somebody because I'm lazy, and you don't have to and you shouldn't have to, but you need to become the person that wants to. So you have to force yourself to do it first. So ask yourself, what's the little attitude adjustment that I can pay attention to, that I can implement tonight? What can you do tonight? What's the attitude adjustment? And the experience. So this one, I want you to think about, what have you been holding yourself back from experiencing? Because you either can't do it, don't think you can do it, don't want to try it because you're afraid of failure, or you've tried it before and failed, or don't think it's important. Those two things. Okay, ladies? That's your homework. Lots of stuff to think about. I appreciate you ladies tuning in as always. I will post this to the Facebook group. If you ladies have any other questions or want to continue this conversation, you know where to find me. I love you all very much, and I appreciate you. This is, while we talk, we change the world here, and it's crazy. And I'm gonna get emotional about it. Like this changes the world, this stuff. And there's lots of crazy stuff going on. And this, for the most part, is all you can do, what we're doing right now. So don't ever think like you're not making a difference. Or don't ever think that there's too much bad. You always have the choice. You can always do things like this. It might not feel like much. This is the only way that it works. This is the only way. Don't waste your time on anything else. Just be the best you. Don't underestimate that. Because we usually focus on other things because it's easier and more convenient and faster and viewed as a bigger impact. Because this is the hard work. This is a really hard work because we procrastinate it, right? We're procrastinators at growing our self-esteem. Stop procrastinating. You're slowing down, changing the world.